Hey everybody, how's it going out there? Welcome to Good Movies and Music. My name's AJ. So today we're doing another movie reaction. We're going to be watching Top Gun, starring Tom Cruise and directed by Tony Scott. This movie just had its 35-year anniversary, came out in May of 1986. And, I always knew this movie was popular, although in my mind for some reason I always just thought of it more as being like a cult classic film. And I'm thinking that's just because in those 35 years following, that it has sort of gained sort of a cult following, with later generations who weren't around when it came out in theaters. And I think it's a very memeable film. I feel like I've seen GIFs and stills from this online. But yeah, I've never actually gotten around to seeing it. And, I even said in my Bill and Ted reaction from a few weeks ago that the 80s are just the biggest gap I have in terms of my film viewing. And, you could throw out the name of any of the biggest films from the 80s, and there's a good chance that I probably haven't seen it. And this is a great example of that because, like I said, I thought this film was a cult classic. I knew it was popular. I didn't realize that it was actually the highest grossing film of 1986. It took in $357 million, which, might not get you the crown nowadays, but when you factor in, inflation, then yeah, it's actually super impressive. And just reading up a little bit on Top Gun, it was just a great example of how much the film industry has changed in those 35 years. Because this film, it has a big bankable star in Tom Cruise. Even back then he was a big star. And I know they're playing fighter pilots. I imagine there's going to be some action scenes involving fighter jets. So to be able to make such a big movie like that, their budget was only actually $15 million. And that is impressive that they were able to make such a big movie with just that amount of money. And just for context, I was curious about what the budget was for Top Gun Maverick coming out this year. And they actually had a budget of $150 million for that film. So they're spending 10 times as much money on this sequel 35 years later. Yeah, like all the Marvel and DC films, those big blockbuster tentpole films, they tend to cost around anywhere from $150 to, $250, I think is about what they cost. So yeah, they're spending big superhero money on this Top Gun sequel that's coming out later this year. So anyway, yeah, that's just a little bit of context and some fun facts before we jumped into the movie. But other than that, not much else I want to say. I think I just want to go ahead and jump into it. So yeah, let's not waste any more time. This is going to be my reaction to Top Gun from 1986. Let's go. Isn't this the movie that has the song Danger Zone? Is that where this comes from? That's such a 80s song. Same with like The Heat Is On. There's like a lot of songs that were on movie soundtracks in the 80s that I hear them and I'm like, that song would have only been made in the 80s. Top 1% of its pilots, 1969. That's a pretty cool shot just right off the bat. There it is. Yeah, there's just something about the energy and like the mood of the 80s that lends itself to songs like this. Just like a lack of irony in the 80s.
We have unknown aircraft, inbound Mustang. Who's up there? Cougar and Merlin and Maverick and Goose.
Cougar and Merlin and Maverick and Goose. They all walk into a bar.
Talk to me, Goose. Roger, I got him.
Which one doesn't fit with the rest? You have a cougar, a vicious animal. You have a Maverick, which just sounds cool. You have Merlin, a wizard. And then Goose. You got the short end of the nickname stick.
Merlin, see if he's a single. Roger. Goose, you see a trailer? Negative, Merlin. Cougar, I'm gonna go head-to-head with him. Take it easy, Maverick. I don't like this shit. I'm gonna break high and right and see if he's really alone.
I'm liking this really synthy score.
Oh shit, there's two of them. Woo! Big 28, no one's been this close before. What the hell are they doing here? I'm going after Big 2. Shit, what's he doing? God damn it, this bogey's all over me. Let's see if we can scare this guy out of here. I got him locked. Bingo. We got him, Mav. He's bugging out and going home. All right, what's their position?
I'm guessing this is all sort of Cold War related, given the era that this was filmed in.
Cougar, he's got missile lock on us. Get away from this guy. The hell is this shit? He's engaging me. Do not fire until fired upon.
Man, that shot just must have been exhilarating and disorienting on the big screen.
Is this your idea of fun, man?
I think it is. I think that is his idea of fun.
Watch the birdie. Jeez, I cracked myself up. Cougar, we're running low on gas. We gotta get out of here.
What's up with Cougar?
Paper, Cougar. Let's do it.
Ghost Rider, you are instructed to land. Land immediately.
Man, we got a little problem up here. That MiG really screwed him up. I don't think he can make it back.
You're okay, Cougar. Just stay on my wing. I'll take you all the way in.
That feels like Tom Cruise's real life energy. Seems like that type of guy who'll just walk into a situation and just be ready to help. Looking a little wobbly.
We're too little, Cougar. We're too little, Cougar.
That stopped real quick. Is Cougar gonna be demoted to a cub? You gotta know yourself. Know when it's time to move on. When your current situation just isn't working out for you anymore.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. You've been busted. You lost your qualifications as section leader 3 times. And let's not bullshit, Maverick. Your family name ain't the best in the Navy. You 2 characters are going to Top Gun. For 5 weeks, you're gonna fly against the best fighter pilots in the world.
Now, Top Gun was created to teach ACM, air combat maneuvering, dogfighting.
This gives me a hard on.
By the end of Vietnam, don't tease me. Lines, please.
Now, in each combat sequence, you're going to meet a different challenge. Every encounter is going to be much more difficult. We're going to teach you to fly the F-14.
What are these just intense glances that everyone's exchanging?
The best driver in his reel from each class has his name on it.
That's a really cool honor, but that plaque just has Employee of the Month vibes.
Yes, that's pretty arrogant, considering the company you're in. Yes, sir? I like that, the pilot. Just remember, when it's over out there, we're all on the same team.
The plaque for the alternates is down in the ladies' room.
What's that laugh?
Oh, Jesus! Oh, you kill me. This is what I call a target-rich environment. You live your life between your legs, man. Ghosts, even you can get laid in a place like this.
Why is none of this dialogue believable coming from these guys right now?
That's him, Iceman. That's the way he flies, ice cold, no mistakes. Just wears you down, you get bored, frustrated, do something stupid, and he's got you. Well, the list is long, but distinguished. Well, so's my Johnson.
I mean, I guess the first half makes sense, but distinguished?
Sorry to hear about Cougar. He and I were like brothers in flight school. He was a good man.
Still is a good man.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, I think I can figure that one out on my own.
I heard that about you. You like to work alone.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it through this movie with just the amount of intense, awkward staring like this close to each other.
We're gonna have a good time. Always.
I don't know if y'all have seen BoJack Horseman before, but there's a character, and you know, no major spoilers here, but there's a character named Vincent Adultman, and the joke is that it's like 2 or 3 kids just stacked up on top of each other wearing a trench coat, pretending to be one adult man. Vincent Adultman he'll just say the most ridiculous things like, I'm conducting business transactions, you know, just like trying to say things he thinks that adults would say, but it just sounds so ridiculous. And that's kind of what it feels like, these characters trying to talk about hitting on women and how they're going to pick up women. It just feels like that version of Vincent Adultman.
Oh, I don't know. Since,
Puberty? Pilot.
That's right, a naval aviator.
Then I won't have to worry about you making your living as a singer.
And she's also a civilian contractor, so you do not salute her. But you better listen to her because the Pentagon listens to her about your proficiency.
Hello? We will be dealing with F-5s and A...
Well, I just happened to see a MiG-28. Sorry. We
Happened to see a MiG-28 do a 4G negative dive.
Well, if you were directly above him, how could you see him?
Because I was inverted.
Wilson!
What were you doing there?
You know, giving him the bird.
You know, the finger.
Yes, I know the finger, Goose.
I'm sorry, I hate it when it does that. I'm sorry.
I think Goose is my favorite character so far.
Yes, ma'am.
I lost him, Goose. Show me what you got, kid.
Here we go.
Come on, man. Do some of that pilot shit. Yeah, I got him. Okay, you're mine. Woo! Woo! Jester's dead. Woo-hoo! Jester's dead. Yeehaw!
I wonder if when they're doing these trainings, are these fighter jets actually armed? Like, could he accidentally hit the launch button and really blow them up? I imagine you'd have to have, if not missiles on board, you'd have to have something that simulates the weight of them, because I imagine any little fluctuation in the weight of the plane would probably make a difference in terms of how you maneuver it and how it handles. Really don't know a whole lot about how all that works. Would love to know in the comments though.
We nailed that son of a bitch.
You guys really are cowboys.
What's your problem, Kazansky?
You're everyone's problem.
Nice, man. I am dangerous. We weren't below 10,000 for more than a few seconds. I had the shot. There was no danger, so I took it.
And broke a major rule of engagement. Then you broke another one with that circus stunt flyby. Top Gun rules of engagement exist for your safety and for that of your team.
Look, man, I know it's tough for you. I wouldn't let you in the academy because you're Duke Mitchell's kid. You have to live with that reputation.
You're the only family I've got. I'm not gonna let you down, I promise.
That doesn't bode well. I feel like anytime a character says to another character in a movie, "You're the only blank I've got," tends to not end well.
Yeah, I guess when I see something, I go right after it.
Crash and burn, huh, Mav?
Slider. You stink.
Does this take my breath away? They're going full 80s with the soundtrack.
Sorry, I was late.
Tom Cruise strikes me as somebody who's never been late for a single thing in his life.
Thank you.
This actress would have made a good Sonya Blade in a Mortal Kombat movie.
I'm glad we got that straight.
There's a lot of breath getting taken away in this movie for the amount of times they're playing that song.
Gutsiest move I ever saw.
That's taking his breath away too.
I can't hear you!
Who's making aggressive maneuvers now? I don't believe any of this, but I'm having a blast watching it. Hey, they finally got to the lyrics. They've been teasing just that instrumental open for so long. Ooh, that's some tongue.
I feel the need for speed. Great. He's probably saying, "Holy shit, it's Maverick and Goose."
Yeah, I'm sure he's saying that.
Come on, baby. Come around, come around. That's it.
When I come around.
That was some of the best flying I've seen yet. Right up to the part where you got killed. You never leave your wingman.
Come on, Ice. Get the hell out of there. I can't get the angle. I'm too close for missiles. We're in a jet wash. Oh. Mayday, mayday. Mav's in trouble. He's in a flat spin. He's heading out to sea. He's jet!
What happened? That sounded a little too crunchy.
Oh no!
Did he break his neck? This music, why? Like, it's already sad. You don't need to play sad music. Like, I get what I'm supposed to be feeling right now. That was my favorite character, too. This music sounds like it's from an anime score.
I think maybe it was my...
And actually, that just totally recontextualizes this whole movie for me. Because this movie feels like an anime. Like, the acting style, just the tone of it. It's like a very much an anime tone, if that makes sense. Like, just a little bit over the top, but still very sincere. This is so anime. Not gonna become the next Cougar, is he?
You can't get back in the saddle, won't engage. It's only been a few days.
I will say the sound design is really strong in this film. Like, you hear just every little thing. The crunch of their leather when they move around.
I flew with you. B-51.
Those birds in the background was a nice touch.
The simple fact is you feel responsible for Goose, and you have a confidence problem. Up there, we gotta push it. That's our job.
That's a cool shot.
Give me a call. I'll fly with you.
Wow.
Sir.
I got this character's just made a total 180.
Gentlemen, this is the real thing. This is what you've been trained for.
2-1, you've got a pair of bogeys. 12 o'clock, 15 miles.
There's 15,000 feet now. Dead ahead, 10 miles.
Okay, Wood, I'm taking the lead. Let's identify him.
Roger, Ice, you got the lead.
Now breaking out 4 aircraft on radar. Not 1 pair, 2 pair. Repeat, 4 bogeys.
Why so many bogeys? What's going on here?
He's got a radar lock on us. Get out of there,
Is it really gonna fire?
Break left.
Oh, they're doing it. It's happening. It is going down.
3 MiGs dead ahead, coming down the left side.
Again, the sound design sounded awesome in my headphones.
Firing, break right. Mustang, this is Voodoo 1. We are totally defensive. Launch the alert fighter. Shit, that was close. Maverick, how about the belt down here? Where the hell are you, goddamn?
Come on, kid, hang in there. God damn it, Maverick!
Nah, he's gonna try some sort of crazy maneuver, isn't he?
Get in there, Maverick. You can't leave him. Come on, Maverick. I got tone. Fire it.
Boom.
Good tone. I'm taking a shot. Fire.
Oh.
Ice, that bogey's still behind you. I'm maneuvering for a shot. Now! I got a good lock. Firing. Woo! Splashboard!
You.
You are still dangerous. You can be my wingman anytime. Bullshit. You can be mine.
Sir, how's it feel to be on the front page of every newspaper in the English-speaking world? Even though the other side denies the incident, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Where do you think you want to go?
I thought of being an instructor, sir.
God help us.
I heard the best of the best were going to be back here, so...
Baby, baby.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience, and I don't even know how to begin to talk about this film because I thoroughly enjoyed it. That was a really fun film, but was it good? I don't think so. Does it matter? Like, if you enjoyed it, does it even, like, And that's the thing about talking about film, right? Like, do words like good and bad even matter necessarily? Like, people say art is subjective, and it is to an extent, but there's a lot of objective aspects to art, the technical side of it. You know, if you don't know how to mix sound properly, like, there are just some basics that are just fundamentals. You have to know how to light a scene. You have to know how to record audio. You have to know, as an actor, how to deliver a line. There are some technical, fundamental aspects of it. This film, technically, I would argue this film was technically flawless in a lot of ways. Visually, and I talked about the sound design while I was watching it. It looked and sounded good. The aerial shots, the dogfight scenes, the way they were edited and shot, it was all great. But yeah, the story was just kind of barely there. The acting was just kind of silly and over the top. Props to everybody in that film for really selling it and really being in it. But it's just funny because, yeah, these lines, some of it was just so hokey. And I guess it kind of also depends on, your view of Tom Cruise. There are people who just can't stand his acting, and I just never got that. I think his acting is actually pretty tremendous. I mean, Magnolia, it's an all-time great performance. Yeah, but I think what it is I think Tom Cruise can be a little too intense for people. I think he can be a little too sincere in his delivery. Just down to how he runs. Like, you watch a Mission Impossible movie and just watch him run. He runs sincerely, Like, I don't think he has an insincere or ironic bone in his body. Just everything he does, it's about doing it sincerely with, like, everything he's got. I can get why people would have issues with his acting style, but like I said, I think he's a great actor. I would actually even argue that in this film, there were moments where he was actually giving really great performances, but they were being undercut by just some really kind of just cheesy musical numbers. Yeah, just some of the editing and the music, I felt like was just undercutting the drama that they were trying to sell. And it might be different now. That might just be hindsight because of the way we look at a lot of music from the 80s now. Back then, that might have just been like the perfect musical choice, and people really just vibed with it. That might have just been the perfect song. Like, relying so heavily on Take My Breath Away to sell dramatic moments and sell romantic moments, like, maybe that worked like gangbusters for people back then, but now that song, just that synthesizer and that chord progression, it's just a little silly. It's a little tacky. And I'm not gonna knock anyone for liking that song, but it was really undercutting some of the drama for me. But I don't know, maybe it really just worked like gangbusters for people watching at the time. Like, that's what I said, you don't get to be the highest grossing film of any year unless what you're doing is really working for people in that moment. All right, yeah, so I'm having trouble just really composing my thoughts on this because, like I said, I enjoyed it, but I don't think I enjoyed it the way the filmmakers necessarily intended it to be enjoyed. And I don't want to go as far as to say that I enjoyed it on an ironic level, because some of it was genuine. There were some things that I liked on a genuine level, but yeah, some of it was just kind of goofy for me. But I was still able to enjoy it in that context, knowing just like how kind of silly some of this stuff was. But anyway, so yeah, just me having trouble really composing a coherent thought on this whole experience. I decided to pull up the wiki. I just wanted to see, what were critics saying back then. And Roger Ebert, I had to get to his quote. And I think this basically, he just encapsulates, what I've been feeling about this movie, which is, Roger Ebert says, movies like Top Gun are hard to review because the good parts are so good and the bad parts are so relentless. The dogfights are absolutely the best since Clint Eastwood's electrifying aerial scene in Firefox, but look out for scenes where people talk to each other. And that's just so perfect. That's everything I'm feeling about this movie right now. I like that he says the good parts are good and the bad parts are relentless. He doesn't say the bad parts are bad. He says they're relentless. And that is the perfect word choice for that. Because like I said, the amount of times they relied on Take My Breath Away, just decisions like that they were so relentless. They chose this tone and they were like so unapologetic about it. And I kind of actually respect this movie for just being so straight ahead with this tone. Like, that they went for it, Yeah, Roger Ebert was the GOAT. I mean, I don't know how much people really know about Ebert anymore. That guy just had the perfect mind for reviewing cinema for a mass audience. Roger Ebert was so great at just reviewing a film on its terms. You know, what was this film trying to be, and was it successful at that? You know, he wasn't trying to hold films to standards that those films themselves weren't even trying to reach. You know, he really had a knack for just figuring out what a film was and then reviewing it from that point of view. So yeah, Roger Ebert, rest in peace, one of the greatest of all time. I will say one last thing about this movie, and it really helped me appreciate the movie once it kind of clicked for me, which is the tone and the performances, you know, the music choices, the acting choices, the way it was written. I was like, why does this all feel so familiar yet unfamiliar? And at a certain point it clicked. I was like, oh, this feels like anime. Like, and I don't have a whole lot of experience with anime. I really haven't watched that much, but from what I have watched of it, it's a very similar tone as this movie. You know, Top Gun just was full of these like kind of almost tacky but really emotive and really sincere musical choices. And same in the acting, just really sincere, really selling it, you know, putting a lot of oomph behind a line, you know, like really performing a line. Very much in the same way that anime does. You know, anime, I feel like the ones I've seen, they're very sincere. You know, there's nothing ironic about it. You know, they're very much selling the story and the characters. They want you to take it all seriously, but it's also just little hints of cheese, you know, just little bit of cheesiness, little bit of hokiness, and I think that's perfectly fine. That's not a criticism. It's just kind of an observation of tonally what I've seen from a lot of anime, and it seemed very much akin to what was going on in Top Gun tonally. So yeah, that helped me just, you know, as I was watching the film midway, it helped me rethink the way I was viewing the film. I was like, oh, like, I'm sure that wasn't what they were going for. Like, I doubt Tony Scott was like super into anime and was like, let me try to recreate that live action. But I don't know what it is. There was just something there that just, they felt very akin to each other. Yeah, what an experience. You know, I've been talking for a few minutes and I feel like I still haven't really captured what I'm feeling about this movie. So I'm just gonna basically just, you know, TLDR, I enjoyed it. I don't know why I enjoyed it. It was fun, but I could definitely see all the flaws in it. I think I'll just, you know, throw it back again to that Roger Ebert quote, you know, because the good parts are really good and the bad parts were relentless. I'm just gonna have to defer to Ebert on this one. I'm just not gonna be able to sum it up any better than that. So yeah, that was Top Gun. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. And are you looking forward to the sequel? Are you gonna go watch the sequel? But yeah, anyway, that's gonna do it for me for today. If you want to follow along with more of my movie reactions, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you do, remember to ring the bell, because that lets you know when I upload new videos. Signing out for today, this has been Good Movies and Music. My name's AJ. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.